live for people who are watching on phones mostly, and I'm going to be doing some indexing in my nature journal. Partly I'm doing this live to keep me accountable, so that means I won't give up, because doing these indexes, it's always worth it, and it can be fun, but it is a lot of work, and you're basically going back and forth through all the pages of a finished journal, even when you have new projects that you might rather be working on, or new journals that you want to be starting, new drawings that you could be doing, but instead you're going back through old drawings and you are making an index out of them. So partly to keep myself accountable and make sure that I actually finish it, because this one has been sitting for a while. This is journal number 59, and I'm already on journal number 62, but I still haven't finished these indexes or indices, and they do catch up on you. So partly I'm doing this live just to help keep myself accountable, and then partly I'm doing it to create a little bonus fun content for you. I usually do the complete journal shares as a live, or make it only available for my Patreon members. So whenever you get a chance to see one of these, it is sort of a special offering. Okay, so right now I'm indexing all of these pages from Wild Wonder. So I'm not going to be talking that much while I do this. I'm going to be going back and forth, and hopefully you'll be able to get a little bit of a view of what's going on these pages as I do this. So let's see, page 57. I use sticky notes to kind of keep track of where I am. 57, got that page. So 58 was the same with Kate Rudder. So, oops. 57, 58. And then let's see, 59 is going to be... oh, this is a hint at an upcoming episode. Is I made a note here about one of the Pencil Miles and Chill sessions during the Wild Wonder Nature Journaling Conference. And one of my Patreon members and someone who went on the Ecuador, the Andes to Amazon nature journaling trip last year, her name's Vivian. She did this whole thing, this recombinatorial nature journaling. So I think that's something that I'm going to be talking about more this year, because it's on my list of the top techniques for nature journaling in 2025. I mean, 2026. Wait, what year is it? No, 2025. Jeez, can't keep track of what year it is. That's all right. 58 and 59 is going to be math with Roseanne. So 58, 59. So I'll make like a symbol that's relative to her, relevant to her talk. And she talked about fractals, how to nature journal fractals. And it was called The Art of Nature's Math. Art, Nature, and Math, all in one title. And 59, that was also page. I am indexing this nature journal. So I'm going back through this entire, and you can do this with any type of sketchbook. You can go through an entire sketchbook and create an index, and they can be fun indexes. So you can see there's page numbers, but there's drawings. It's sort of like sketchnoting, and it helps you remember what you were going through and what you were learning. And it also makes it potentially a searchable a searchable way when you look back through old sketchbooks. Hi, Terry. Hi, Cindy. Cindy, I'm just doing a impromptu live with the index indexing. It's partly just to keep myself on task and actually finish this. These indexing things, they take a lot of work. So by making it live, it sort of forces me to finish it. So I won't be talking too much, or else I won't get too much done. But you can see how I go through this process. And this is an opportunity to see that the journal shares are usually only on Patreon these days. So this is a chance to see some of the pages. All right, so it's 59 and 60. And now I'll just draw a little drawing of Roseanne Hansen. So I have that really bad drawing of Rosemary, but you have to start drawing people and just being okay with them not looking great all the time. Like, that's supposed to be Roseanne Hansen, really? Sorry, Roseanne. It's just a little drawing, you know. Roseanne Hansen. That was a cool class. And then it was this class with Mike Rohde. So 61, 62, 63. Those were fun. 61 through 63, Mike Rohde. And he taught, I think he taught composition this time. Page layout. So for this one, I'm actually going to do 61, 62, 63. I'm going to make little mock-up page layouts for those pages. I think I have space for this 62. Or maybe I'll just do 63. And that's a really easy thing to make an image of. I have some fold-out pages on here, so this is something that I'm doing a lot more, especially after my that class that I did on junk journaling in your nature journal. I'm really into like sticking different stuff in here, and I didn't have any tracing paper for his class, but I had this wax paper, luckily, in one of my handy dandy pockets that, you know, I put into my journals. Now these pockets, I make a pocket, it's really useful. And so I had a piece of that, and that's what that is. So this is the kind of thing, it's kind of hard to index this, but I could potentially show it if I wanted to. So I could show that there's like a pocket on the page or some type of three-dimensional fold out. This is the kind of thing you can't digitize either. If you think about digital books, there's no way to make something like this in a digital book, or even a digital copy that can be printed en masse, unless you have like little Santa's elves gluing in these sheets of paper that have been printed separately. So it's very handmade, which is fun. 61. Okay, page layout, and now I have to draw Mike Rohde. He wears glasses and a baseball hat, so that really helps. And he has a beard, so, or like a goatee, so way easier to make a caricature of him. Mike Rohde. He has been interviewed on the Nature Journal show before, so if you're interested in sketchnoting and lettering and stuff like that, he has cool videos online. He has a really cool website and newsletter, and I interviewed him. If you go to my main YouTube page, you can find all the playlists, and those playlists are really helpful because I have all the interviews in one place, or a whole bunch of videos about watercolor all in one place. So that's a good thing to know about. 62, 63, these were fun, and I used gouache. These were these layout practice ideas, so I'm gonna make some images showing those, like especially this one, because I want to remember that Bushmaster one. Lachesis genus, probably the most badass snake in all of the Western Hemisphere, and probably in the top 5 in the world. The Bushmaster is the common English name, and much maligned, of course, like most snakes, and really, really cool species. The biggest pit viper in the entire world, I believe. And so maybe I can just draw it in here with black. I'm trying to do this visual hierarchy where I use black for more important things. Page layout, and then I'll make it look like there's writing. So you can see, if you get really into it and perfectionist, these indexes can take forever to work on, and that's a problem. So you have to have, this is one of those places you really, with your art, you really have to have self-awareness, and decide, like, is this something you really want to try? And what do you need to be successful? If you're a recovering perfectionist like myself, you have to be really careful. '64. If you want to know more about the topics of these pages, you should look at my Wild Wonder videos, because I made a ton of videos talking about every single day during the conference. So 64 is the beginning of day 3. So 65, that's kind of perfect, because then I have, I kind of have 10 more pages to go to get to where I should be for the end of this. And so, how have I been writing day 2? Oh, with gray. Wild Wonder day 3. Day 3. Jack's poem. Oh, that was Fernando's. I didn't do that much note taking on that one, so I'm not even going to write anything about it. Really, 64. Keynote. 65. And that was Sofia Gazarian drawing birds. Gazarian. See, look, I'm getting practice drawing really miniature people. Hers was about birds, so I'll draw like a flying bird. Done. Next, 65. 66. That was with, what was her name? Meryl Jamila, and that one's about gouache paint, landscape gouache painting. I feel like each year during this conference, it's like an opportunity for me to practice gouache painting again, and I get all excited, and then I do a little bit, I learn like one thing, and then I put it away because it's such a pain in the butt, in my opinion, compared to watercolor. And then I take it out 1 year later, and it's like I learn a teeny little bit more, so it's a little bit slow that way. 66, 67. But I feel like this year I learned a lot more by using different brushes. I think the brushes really, there were several classes like that where the brushes really mattered. Meryl Jamila. Gouache. And I should probably look at these, because they're actually at some point later, because they're actually something I can learn from. So that's one thing you can do also, is have some sticky notes and use those sticky notes for things that you want to come back to. I have a sort of nomenclature for things that I want to come back to in addition to sticky notes. I make little like check boxes. So that's something that you could do, you know, like I could draw one in here and try to remember to come back and look at these landscapes. '66, '67. Oh, that was Pencil Miles and Chill about language diversity. 67. Talk about that every year at the conference in a breakout section. Charcoal class with Maggie Hurley. You can see how I used the, this is how I normally will use these little bits of, you know, you could use transparency, whatever semi-transparent or baker sheet or what's it called? Tracing paper. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the speed here and just write down her name. Oops. Charcoal. And 69 is sky painting with Brooke Morales. 69. Sky Escapitos. I think she has an E at the end. Yep. Poetry class with Amy Nezukumatato. And I have a fold out. This was really funny, actually. This was a really funny exercise. I'll read you my poem in 1 second. 70, 71, 72, 73. Gray. And I'm going to make a drawing showing how that page folds out. And write funny poem. So I come back to it. Amy, and that was what, 70, 71, 73. Okay, I'm gonna read this poem. So, afraid of teeth, that's me. Love pigeons though, no teeth there. They make milk, you know. Here's some right here. Wonderful aroma. That's why I live here with them. No teeth. Here, the one on my head, that's Bob. So I don't remember exactly how the prompt went, but somehow she started us with these phobias. So, and we sort of randomly chose them, I think. And then we did a poem based on that. So the one that got chosen for me was odontophobia. And so that was the prompt for my poem odontophobia is fear of teeth. Anyways, it was one of those, you can find these kind of things online, and it's amazing for creative writing or poetry. Having a prompt can really, really make something. Like, I wouldn't have been able to just sit down and write a poem like that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's keep going though. 71, 73. I'm almost 3/4 of the way there. Then here is another zine. This was also based on her poetry class. So that's 74. And I can make that one big-ish. And I'll make Amy and 74. There are way too many people named Amy at this conference. 74. Okay, so it's gonna fold out, a fold out page. And I'm gonna make it look like there's a zine folded up in there with a harpy eagle on it. Boom. Poetry based zine, whatever. I'll just write zine. And then 75. 75 was more color stuff from printed out onto resume paper, which is a pro tip. This was also from Seffi's class, I believe. So 75, Seffi George's color class. Print out. Okay. 76 keynote with Amy. 76. I'll put 76 here too. 76. Poetry keynote. So you can see I've been live for about 20 minutes and I've only gotten 50, 60, 70, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. I've only gotten 20 pages, covered 20 pages worth of indexing. So it's like a page a minute. So if you have, this is a 100-page book, that's 100 minutes, around 100 minutes for every time you do one of these indexes. So it's a lot of work. At least, you know, if you're trying to make it a little bit creative. Okay, 77 is day 4. Worst drawing I ever did. Oh no, second worst drawing I ever did of John Muir Laws right there. Every morning he reads a poem for the first thing. This class, next class was with Sushma. It was with these, all about painting flowers. So I'll probably have to try to draw some flowers. Day 4, Sushma. She was fun to draw. She had a floral print outfit on and teaching about painting flowers. She's really famous. I think she has like hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. I didn't get to interview her. She was one of the people I didn't get on the show, but she's almost intimidating outside of my league in terms of you know, these like macro big time influencers. I'm still on the nano influencer scale. Okay, so I'll put some flowers. I feel like I learned a lot more in her class this year, and part of it was really paying attention to her brush strokes. It's all about brush strokes. And that is page, I'll put all the page numbers in one spot. So that's one thing you can do. 77 through 79. There's a million ways you could do one of these indices. So that's definitely a way that your perfectionism can turn into procrastination and then turn into never actually doing an index, because you can overthink it really easy. 80, 81, another zine, look at that. 80, 81. and that's with Verena, and she's kind of hard to draw. If I can make her orange hair, that would be way easier. And then she has some different piercings. I can't remember. There we go. So big smile. If you make everybody smiling a lot, that always helps. Try to get her piercings in there. And a big spider on her shoulder would help. And she wears this necklace with teeth on it. So these are the kind of things that make someone way easier to make like a recognizable caricature of. Stuffed animal spider on their shoulder, and teeth on their necklace. Maybe I should wear a necklace with teeth on it. That way people would remember me better. She has a huge Instagram too. She's really blown up with nature journaling in Germany in the last few years. It's pretty awesome. And this was a great class too. So spiders, and we also made another zine. How to fall in love with spiders. She had some really good ideas. Probably should have done this one in black. So 80, 81. Is that right? 80, 81. So I've got 20 more pages to go. So I think that'll be fitting. This is a good exercise to also practice how you fit stuff and think sort of spatially about the page. Okay, so next. Puffin, John Muir Laws, Puffin Party, Dance Party. So I gotta get that in there. 82, 83. And this was his class. And just 82, 83. Okay, perfect. So I have to try to draw either a Puffin or John Muir Laws as a Puffin, because he had this face paint on that was really something else. People, this was not a normal, death by Zoom conference. Draw a little puff in here. And I should draw him too. And that was 82 and 83. Not easy to draw puffins. So you can see I had to do a little micro version of his face. Good practice. Oops, I definitely lost track of using this sticky note to keep. Oh man, there's a lot to go. Oh, this is hard. This is tiring. It's definitely not as easy as just like, you know, freestyle nature journaling or just going out and drawing a plan or whatever. Okay, these are both lectures. I'm not going to go into them in detail. 84, 85. This guy basically invented the first use of decoy birds for conservation purposes, which was historic, you know. And all the way to 80, is that 87? No. What? There's some mistake with the pages here. 89. Oh yeah, that's 89. Okay, so 87, that's right. 84 through 88. 84 through 88. All right, I'm going to do something that shows how things are not always perfect. I'm gonna start just so that I can finish this. I have too many different projects on the back burner. I'm going to just go like super fast and make the rest super fast and super boring. So 84 through 88 lectures, 89 day 5, page 89. Anastasia, what did she call her class? Travel sketching. And that's 90, 91. Learned a lot in that class. 90, 91. Ching. 92, 93. Nishant Jain. Sketching, urban sketching. Let's see. 92, 93. I got in a good flow of doing, you know, 2-page spreads for each class. Nishant Urban. He's really huge on Instagram. He has like 500,000 followers on Instagram. I interviewed him. That was a good interview. So if you go back and search on my page for interview with Nishant Jain, aka the Sneaky Artist, or if you go on the playlist that has all of my interviews, or you go on the playlist for Wild Wonder 2024, you'll be able to find that interview. 92, 93, got that. And this was Claire Giordano, Monochromatic Mountains. That was a really good class. You can see that I often do I try to do 2 versions in a class where you're only doing one. Sometimes having a second one, maybe it's for like my attention deficit or whatever, but having another one. Also, I made a star right here because I learned something in this class that was really impactful about watercolor brushes. And it was one of those sort of like aha moments where you're like, oh yeah, that's what's been happening this whole time. And you thought it was you, but it was actually maybe the brush. One of the few instances where you can blame something sort of on the art materials. But I have one of those fancy sable watercolor brushes, and she was talking about how she doesn't even like those. She rather likes the synthetic cheap ones and has better results with those, and finds that the fancy expensive sable watercolor brushes are often too soft and too thirsty to a fault. Just imagine that. Okay, 94, 95. I'll draw mountains because that's super easy. And I'll draw a water brush. See, look, I'm already and that was 90, what? 94, 95. Akshay's class, that was a cool class. People really put a lot into their classes this year. So you can see that was a really fun sketch note during his class too. Ooh, I need to draw that. Okay. That was, that would be 96, 97. '96, '97. '98. I used 3 pages for his class. That's a good sign. Then final lecture with Tony Foster. Best drawing I've ever done of Tony Foster so far. Tony Foster, Jack Laws. Wow, my drawings that people are getting kind of all over the place, but these ones are actually good. Maybe doing it every single day for like 5 days in a row helps. And this is like the end of the event, day 5, 90. So let's say 99, 100, 101, basically the closing. 99 through 101. Wonder conclusion. Boom. Then I have my tools used page. See, I think I added some pages in. That's why there's more than 100 pages in this book. And that's one of the techniques. That's part of the recombinatorial nature journaling, which I think is one of the top techniques for nature journaling in 2025. So one of the things that you can do with these journals, it's surprisingly easy, is look at this. You can pull out a page from, this is from a different journal, a different sketchbook. It has heavier paper, and I didn't have enough pages in this book for my index, so I ripped this one out. Look, I didn't even do any special way of ripping it. I just pulled it out here, and then you can actually take these, and they do a surprisingly amazing job of just reconnecting to the spiral binding like Velcro. Look at that. And that's basically how this page has been in there. And I think I made note of that here in my index so that I would know. And I think that's actually like a really important technique. And just this idea that you can pull pages out from anywhere in your journal or different journals and stick them into another journal. That's the recombinatorial nature journaling that I think is going to be revolutionary. I mean, the amount of possibilities with it are just mind-boggling. Here you can see my tools used page, similar to an index. Is something that I've found that it doesn't always feel fun when you're doing it, but it sure feels fun to look back on it. And it's also super useful because here I have everything, all these notes about, for example, that schmancy, fancy Kolinsky Sable watercolor brush that I used to have, and I did use it on some of these pages. And in that class at Wild Wonder, I learned why I think this brush is no good for me, and I actually got rid of it. Bye. You can see I wrote in my notes there. So having this, you know, like 2 years from now, I could be looking back at some of this stuff and be like, how did I get that? Or why is that falling apart? Like, what glue did I use? If it's falling apart or the paper doesn't look good after 3 years, I want to know what kind of paper that was. And so having that tools used page, I'm going to make a note to come back to this. Having that tools used page is super useful, and it might not seem very fun, but you can make it fun. So I've been using this isometric graph paper for mine, which allows me to put them in this perspective that looks like all the tools are lying on a table. And I got all crazy and burnt the edges of it. And then I used this to create a hinge, and it's like black paper, and I used, metallic paint pins on it. So you can get really crazy with these junk journaling techniques. And I think that is also going to be one of the top nature journaling techniques to try in 2025. All right, so that's it for the index of this. If you want to see the full journal share, you've got almost a full journal share, but if you want to see the full journal share, I do those on my Patreon, and I'm going to be doing the full journal share soon for this journal number 62. And wait, no, not 62. Where is it? I'm going to have a couple to share. It's a little bit crazy, but 61, a lot happened in 61, and I'm going to be doing the complete journal share of this one on my Patreon coming up soon. And as you can see, look at that. That is where I'm supposed to make an index. So this whole journal still needs to get indexed. It's been to multiple tropical islands, cloud forests. It's been up in trees. It's been rained on. It's been pooped on by insects. It's nature journaled live hatching sea turtles going into the ocean. Nature journaled at night. There's waterproof paper attached into here with more baby sea turtles. So there's a lot going on in this this journal and this sketchbook, a whole lot. And I'm going to be sharing it page by page on my Patreon. So if you want to see more content like that, here's this diagram of my Patreon levels. Here you can see there are free members, so check it out. You can actually not pay anything and go over to patreon.com/Marley Peifer and become a free member, and you'll actually get access to a few. There are a few things for free members, but really the people who actually make the Nature Journal Show possible are the Roots members at $5 a month, and they get access to I think over 300 at this point exclusive posts going back for multiple years. Some early videos, special videos. I have blog posts, little essays, a little podcast recorded in the Galapagos Islands, in the Amazon rainforest, all kinds of stuff that Roots members can access for $5 a month. That's less than one taco in California, like a little taco. Bigger Roots, that's $10 a month. That's the most popular and fastest growing level. They also have access to the traveling art toolkit and just support at a slightly higher level. $10, that's about the cost of 2 tacos or maybe a burrito in California. Core is $25 a month. They also get access to all the benefits that the lower tiers. All these people get monthly study sessions as well. Core, they also get access to a one-on-one coaching session with me. So any aspect of your nature journaling or art that you want to work on, I can help with. And then Canopy, these Core is $25 a month. Canopy is $75 a month. Those people get multiple coaching sessions a year with me, basically like one-on-one nature journal tutoring sessions. So those are the levels. You can find out more at patreon.com/Marley Peifer. And this year, the way it's going to work is each week there is going to be an episode, a new episode will come out on Patreon, and then the next week that episode will come out on YouTube. So this week's episode is going to come out on Patreon. So this live right now is the only thing that's going to come out on YouTube. So go over to my Patreon, check it out. Even as a free member, you can access some stuff, and I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, Susan. Thanks everybody for joining in. Bye. Stay tuned for lives because sometimes these aren't available as a recorded version.